Hey, what's going on, Autocons? This is Dalton at Daltonians TFs, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Generations Voyager class Brainstorm. And as you can see, he's in his Cybertronian jet mode, looking, well, a lot of people have been saying this, and I can't help but agree. He looks very much like an R-Wing from Star Fox. I mean, in some aspects, but he does pull a lot of homages from his original Generation 1 form and from the IDW comics, which a lot of the Generations figures have been doing for the past couple of years now. Now, he does look fairly nice. This is kind of a big section just jutting off the back here, but it doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, they do look like little thrusters even back here. And they're going to be the legs for robot mode, so, you know, I'm going to keep them in robot mode, so it's not going to be, intrusive at all, or however you say the word right. Just got some nice silver paint here on the front cannons, and on the, I guess it would be outtakes right here, along with here, and then you've got the Tempographed Autobot symbol, some red paint there. Then in here in the canopy, you just pull this open. You've got his pilot, which it doesn't call him by his actual name, but it is Arcana. We're supposed to be anyways. It does look alright. I mean, these arms look very strange. I mean, just molded into the side panels of Arcana, or Brainstorm's head. And you can see that one problem with this is the paint is fairly flaky, and it'll just flake off with too much movement. I wish they would have thought that through a little bit better. His head is on a ball joint. It may seem a little loose, but we'll get more into that in robot mode. And his knees are joined, just as the Generation 1 was. I mean, didn't have this much movement, but still, you know, the legs are joined. Let's get Arcana out of the way for now, and focus on Brainstormer. You can see he's got one little landing ski here. These little tabs back here will act as the rear. Now, as far as the transformation goes, fairly simple. You fold down these little panels here, and you want to untab the bottoms. You want to take this section here, bend it down. Now, these sections here are some pretty tight ratchets, so I don't know if it'll affect my mic at all. So if it does, I'm sorry. But one moment. But you want to rotate these out of the way. First, you want to rotate the skirts out of the way, and bring these out. Like I said, the ratchets are fairly loud, but very nicely, very nice ratchets. Just bring those down and straighten these out, and just line those up with the legs. Let's rotate this up here. Now, as far as this back section, you just fold in the landing strut, and this little peg here will go right there into the back, just like so. Straighten out the arms, take these around, uncurl, open up this tab, bring out the hand. Same on the other side, take it around, open wrist, or panel, fold out hand. And you want to come down here, open up these big panels here. Those will flip out his feet. And there you've got most of Brainstorm in robot mode. Then for Arcana, it's fairly simple. You just rotate the legs up and around. And there you go. Now, one big problem that a lot of people were having that got them early, don't want to mention any names, but they were having problems where the head would get stuck in here. Some of them would actually break. Now, I got this little bit of information from my buddy Josh. Just instead of, doing the whole thing where you shave down this clip, shave down, let me get focused. Shave down along the inside here, and on the sides of Arcana's head, those little kind of earmuff looking things. Just shave it down a little bit with like an X-Acto knife or a pair of scissors, and just keep drying until you get the head in there and you can easily get it out. I mean, you don't want to try and force it out, or else it will pop off the ball joint or could rip the head completely off the ball joint. So just want to be careful with that. But you can just take the head here and pop it down into place, and you can see the little tech specs flip out, which are I think pretty much exactly the same as the G1 tech specs. So if you could correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the G1 figure of this guy like most of my figures, but it is nice to have that. It's just the back end of the seat flips down. And flip that back up. And there you've got Arcana, or not Arcana, Brainstorm in robot mode. Now, one thing you can do is rotate these back. It does help to slim them out a little bit and make a little bit of room on the shelf. But then you got the wings hanging off the back. It's not too much space taken up. Now, one thing I kind of like leaving the cannons on here, but you can pull those off, much like the original figure, and plug him into his hands. Now, I've been waiting for this guy since I've seen him at BotCon. He was, I remember last year seeing, I think it was posted on TFW, the listings for this guy, along with a couple of other rumored headmasters that were supposed to come out in the Generations line. And seeing this guy at BotCon in person just made me want it even more, and I'm so glad to have it now. As far as articulation, instead of me gushing, his head is, like I said, with Arcana's head on a ball joint. It does look fairly emotive. He's got soft, kind of indented ratchets for the shoulders, rotates forward and back, rotates at the bicep, double jointed elbows, so fairly decent range of motion, and he's got a little bit of a wrist wiggle. Nothing at the waist due to the transformation, the way the nose cone flips up onto the back. He's got those ratcheted thighs, which can move forward and back. You just got to move the skirts out of the way. Rotates at the thigh. Bends about 90 degrees at the knee. He's got forward and back at the ankle, along with a little bit of ankle tilt. So fairly articulated and very good looking. I do love this shade of, I want to say it's kind of it's just pretty much teal, kind of a cyan, I believe. Then you got the painted here, a little bit of red paint details throughout along with the silver. He's got yellow painted eyes with the orange mouth plate there. Now again, like I said, with his arms on Arcana, the orange paint flaked off very easily out of package, so you just want to be careful with some of that paint. Now on to some quick size comparisons. First I want to bring in a more recent Voyager, that being Roadbuster, and one from last year being Springer. So you can see he is a fairly tall Voyager. I mean, he's just a little bit taller than Springer here, but he is literally a head taller, a little bit more than Roadbuster, so not too shabby with the size. Now, as I've said before, let's get these guys out of the way before I continue. Now, as I've said before, the paint is an issue, and so is the problem with the head, which also has a little bit to do with paint. Other than that, this guy, as far as mine, has very few problems. Like I said, just the little bits of paint and the head issue. Other than that, he is a really awesome figure. I'm glad to have finally purchased him and gotten him into my collection. Really worth the price of admission, which is down to $20 now. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Highly recommend him if you can find him anywhere near you. I'd rather you find him that way rather than have to buy him online. That's pretty much it. So check out my YouTube. Well, you're already on my YouTube. My Facebook and Twitter, they'll be down in the description below. They're both Daltonians TFs, along with a gallery of this guy. So that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later.